Good morning. This regular meeting of the Lone Star College System Board of Trustees is now called to order, and the time is 10:30 a.m. I've asked our Special Olympics guest to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance today. So if y'all would come up to the podium, we will join you in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We'll now proceed to a roll call. If you're here, please let us know by either saying present or here. Sullivan is present. Saldivar is absent. Wilson is absent. Broussard is absent. Stoma.
I'm here.
Okay, Stoma's online. Mesa,
Present.
present. Thank you. Murillo,
Present.
thank you. Vote. Absent. And Kane,
Present.
thank you very much. Chancellor Castillo, has the notice for this meeting been posted?
I certify that the notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the law, Chair Sullivan.
Thank you very much, Chancellor. The next section is public comment. Ms. Barnett, has anyone signed up to offer public comment?
Yes, we have one, Dr. John Bergdorf.
Good, thank you. Dr. Bergdorf, you know this, but I'm going to read it. Welcome. In accordance with board policy, each speaker is allowed to speak for up to 5 minutes. There is a timer on the podium with lights. When the light turns red, your time has expired.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, members of the Board of Trustees, employees of Lone Star College, and visitors. I am Dr. John Bergdorf, President of the American Federation of Teachers at Lone Star College. Last month, on Monday of spring break, instead of going to the beach or sleeping in, a small delegation of union members from Lone Star College traveled to Austin for a day of visiting with members of the Texas legislature about bills they are debating that relate to education. Altogether, about 500 faculty and staff from all levels of public education showed up from all across the state and fanned out across the Capitol building to meet with senators and representatives. All of us were very clear that we were speaking on behalf of ourselves as citizens and on behalf of our unions, and that we were not speaking as representatives of our particular schools. Those of us from Lone Star teamed up with union members from Austin Community College, Del Mar College in Corpus Christi, and several universities, and visited members of the House Higher Education Committee. In some cases, we talked to legislative staffers. In other cases, we talked to the legislators themselves. We visited both Democrats and Republicans. We had friendly and constructive conversations, and we were able to share our concerns about a number of issues related to higher education currently under debate. Although most of the attention this year has gone to diverting funding for K through 12 education to private schools, there are also some bills at various points in the legislative process that relate to higher education. For example, there are bills that would restrict the content of college classes, preventing professors from teaching aspects of history and government that don't align with the specific political agenda. There's an anti-obscenity legislation proposed for minors that would impact college professors' ability to teach our dual credit students certain topics in anatomy and physiology, psychology, and art. There's a bill that would specifically relate to faculty senates that would require all meetings to be open to the public and all votes to be publicly posted. The same bill would dictate that half of the officers of the faculty senate would be elected by faculty, and the other half, including the faculty senate president, would be appointed by college administration. Other legislation would put extra burdens on the Board of Trustees. Currently, trustees are tasked with the final decision in hiring the chancellor. If proposed legislation passes, they would also make final hiring decisions down to the level of vice presidents. Board members would also be required to specifically approve or deny all curriculum changes across the system, like, for example, what topics are covered in college algebra. Those of us who traveled to Austin shared with legislatures that many of these proposals would be harmful to faculty, administrators, trustees, and ultimately students. We shared with them that some of these proposals seem to reflect misunderstandings about how colleges actually work. Everyone we spoke with listened to us carefully and took note of our concerns. We also spoke about other proposed bills that we believed would be helpful. One such bill would give students returning to college after a few years an academic fresh start, erasing poor grades that they may have received when they were younger. Another would exempt textbooks from state sales taxes. There is far more legislation proposed for higher education than I can speak about today. Some of it may never make it out of committee. What is important to us as union members is to make sure that Texas legislators hear from the folks in the trenches about the possible impact, whether good or bad, on us and our students. We often say that the work of the AFT is to advocate. We advocate for the rights of individual employees, and we advocate for good policies. During legislative sessions, that includes exercising our rights as individual citizens and members of the AFT to share our voices in Austin. Thank you so very much for your kind attention to my report.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Barnett, any additional speakers?
No, sir.
Thank you. Now that we have heard from all speakers, we'll move on to approval of the minutes. Next item, approval of the minutes. Now time for approval of the minutes of the February 28th board retreat meeting and the March 26th regular board meeting. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Being no corrections, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
So move.
Have a motion by Stoma. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Kane. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'll do a roll call vote, please. Saldivar absent, Wilson absent, Broussard absent, Stoma,
Aye.
Mesa.
Aye.
Aye. Mario.
Aye.
Aye. Vote. Absent. Kane
Aye.
and Sullivan, aye. The motion passes and the minutes are approved. We'll now move to special reports. Chancellor Castillo, do you have any special reports or announcements?
I do. I have two today, and I'm going to do something non-routine. I'm going to yield most of my time to two groups of students. And so I'm going to start with recognizing the 2025 Jack Kent Cook semifinalists. So I think most of them are here, actually. We had 19 students be recognized as semifinalists. And for the board, we talked about this years prior. This is quite literally the most prestigious and selective award for a community college student to receive essentially in the country. And it helps them complete their bachelor's degrees at four-year institutions. And again, we had 19, which for those keeping track of rankings, that makes us #1 objectively in the entire country. And so there's one more round left, right? So everyone's, I'm sure, on pins and needles waiting to hear. And so the finalists will receive up to $55,000 annually for up to 3 years. And they also have the opportunity for up to $150,000 for graduate studies. So this is really sort of a really life-changing scholarship for those students. And so I have a list of the recipients, and this is a great problem to have. We have a lot. And so to honor them and their contributions, I'm literally going to go one by one with the board's indulgence because it's super, super important. So I'm going to start first with the students. So, and if I mispronounce your name, if you'll please come up here as I call you and stand at the lectern. If I mispronounce your name, please correct me. It is more important that your name and your family name be honored rightfully than it is that I be correct. So if I mispronounce your name, please come up to the microphone and correct me in public. So let's start with Jacqueline Galvan from LSC Sci-Fair. Mohamed Masood from LSC Sci-Fair. Maria Hernandez from LSC Kingwood. Gabriela Ortiz from LSC Kingwood. I was so hoping to get it right, but I didn't. Go ahead, sir.
It's Mahmoud Masood.
Mahmoud Masood.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, sir. All right. Gabriela Ortiz. You're already up here. Okay, I got confused. So nice, we did it twice. All right. Bethany Lasco. Yoselin Mendoza. Mia Pearson. Warda Binta Zahid. Did I get it right? No, go ahead.
Werda Binte Zahid.
Perfect. Thank you. Jadakai Johnson. By the way, most of the country would be done by now, just so to keep that in mind, right? Jonathan Rodriguez. Go ahead, ma'am.
Jada K. Johnson.
Jada K. Okay, thank you. Ramon Rodriguez. Elizabeth Rubio. Dalen Height. Did I get that right?
Dalen Height.
Thank you. Okay. Yasmin Moreno. Georgina Palomo. Naomi Felder. Gabrielia Galoo. Fabian Infante. And the last one who could not join us, me Alexa Cruz. So let's give her a round of applause. So there are 18 of you here. Wow, good work, everyone. So I want you to stand there for just a couple more seconds for me. I want to recognize Associate Vice Chancellor, Dr. Katie Caruso, who's over honors and international education. So Dr. Caruso, I know you're back there. If you'll come up here, please. And Dr. Mary Nicholson, is it Pray? You also correct me, please. It's Preuss. Preuss, there we go. Thank you, Preuss. Dr. Stephanie Kim. And Professor Ava Vaselis. So board, these are our semifinalists, again, leading the country. Every single one of them has such a great story to tell. And I recognize a lot of you from even 2 years ago when I told you, and remember, a lot of you are going to go to Ivy League schools and top tier schools. They are blessed to have you, not the other way around. And remember that when you get there, you are far better prepared by your professors in this institution than most of your peers will be there. So you absolutely belong. You absolutely have a place there. You earned every bit of it. Nothing was given to you. And we're incredibly proud of you. And I hope you're as proud of us as we are of you. Thank you. And if you'll come up here for a picture, because we want to be able to say we knew them back then, right? And so please come up here for a picture with the board. Thank you, guys.
Trustees, if anyone would like to offer personal congratulatory comments, feel free. I'll start, trustee Murillo, if you'd like to just congratulate. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see the caliber of talent that we have and really hopeful for the future. I know you're all going to do great. Congratulations.
I would add my congratulations as well. 19 Jack Kent Cook Awards. That's just absolutely amazing. Dr. Caruso, thank you so much for your leadership that brought us to this point. So many of you I know within that leadership. And number one in U.S. community colleges. That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Congratulations to all the students. I myself was a Lone Star student not too long ago, about 10 years ago. And so for me, Lone Star was an option that was presented to me and that I was grateful and happy to take. And for y'all, it's the same case, but instead of going to just U of H, y'all are going to be going to Harvard and Yale and, like the chancellor said, other Ivy League schools and schools that will be lucky to have y'all, like the chancellor said. So congratulations. We're very proud of all of you, and go get them.
I was really proud of such a the achievements that you've made, and you're a handsome group. You are a really handsome group.
Thank you. Trustee Stoma.
I just want to add to what my fellow trustees have said. This is a great accomplishment in anyone's life. It's a really, really good start and help you prepare for the challenges ahead, both personally and professionally. So my wholehearted congratulations and a good carry on.
Thank you. And I'll close by saying congratulations as well. And one thing I'd like to note is the diversity of the students. And that truly represents the makeup of our student body. So we're glad that that you're representing us. You've achieved a great deal to this point, and good luck to you going forward. And to Dr. Caruso and the rest of the team, thank you for continuing to give all that you do to these students, because it does make a difference. Thank you. Chancellor, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So again, congratulations. And again, don't become strangers, right? Come back and remember, there's always another crop of students that essentially is sitting there hoping to one day, as you sit in these chairs, hoping to be you in 2 years. And so please come back and sort of contribute to students, because now you guys are the leaders and the people that our current students look up to, because you guys have done the thing that they are trying to do. And so please let them lean on you. Because one of the things that I always say is never take advice about how to do a thing from someone that has not done the thing. So you guys have done the thing. So with that comes a responsibility to train the next generation. All right, so the next group of students is the 2025 LifePath Special Olympics team. So for those of you that are unaware, we have a rather, not, I won't say unique, the lawyer in me, but a rare program called LifePath. And that LifePath program is a post-secondary education program for neurodiverse students at LSE Tomball and LSE Montgomery. LifePath's focus is to assist students as they develop independence, seek college-level academics, and engage in opportunities for career exploration. And so these LifePath students in particular have participated in Special Olympics Texas. And I want to just first stop and talk about how special this LifePath program is to us at this institution, because it's very much part of the strategic aim of this institution to build an institution not where all are welcome, but with particular people in mind. And the LifePath program is a direct example of what is possible when we select a group of students and say, what would happen if we build an entire institution around that? And that's been recognized, by the way, because Special Olympics Texas has declared Lone Star College a unified champion campus, which means that we don't just sort of provide lip service to this special population. We actually walk the walk, and we promote social acceptance in a meaningful way for these particular students. And so I want to, again, highlight how special this program is. There are a few programs, right? We have many programs at Lone Star, But LifePath is one of those programs that people go out of their way, particularly parents, go out of their way to stop me at random events and say, you know, the LifePath program is so special. And it happened just this past Monday. I was at, or Tuesday, I've lost track of dates, to be honest with you. I was at a conference. And after my keynote address or my panel, a parent walked up and said, you know, my son is going to start in LifePath in Montgomery in the fall. And I just want to tell you how great it was to have a program where I know that, you know, my student is going to be treated just like a regular college student, like everybody else. And that's sort of, again, the meaningful service that we're trying to provide to all of our community members. And so the Special Olympics team here, let me tell you, in their first year of competition, and I think we have most of them here, placed third in the region in unified top golf, second in the East Regional flag football competition, and first in the Area 4 basketball competition. Several of them have been invited to try out for Special Olympics Texas basketball team, and they'll travel to Minnesota in May of 2026 for the Special Olympics USA Games. And so just like our Jack Kent Cook scholars, yes, let's give them a round of applause. I've got the list here. And again, there's a difference between all are welcome and it was built with you in mind. So we're going to do the exact same thing for this group of students. So if I mispronounce your name, please come to the microphone and correct me. But as I call you, please come up here. Mario Barker, number 22. Noah Barker, number 30. Jace Mata, number 1. Jonathan Medved, number 24. Aldith Smith, number 2. Andrew Snyder, number 34. Jaden Toronto, number 5. Martha Vergara, number 10. So congratulations to y'all. If y'all can just hang out for just a second. We have team photographer Sarah Jenkins. Assistant coach Amy Lundblad. Head coach Dr. Jerome Davis. And the LifePath program director is Dr. Ann Jeanette. So I'll tell you, I wasn't able to attend your game because I had another commitment, but someone sent me, I was keeping up with y'all, and someone sent me a picture of the scoreboard, and y'all were just crushing the other team. So I asked, which one of you was the one that was sinking threes like Steve Carey? Which one? We're like Steph. That was you? All right. So congratulations again. We're so proud of you. So proud of you. And I want to tell you that one of the people that was at one of your games was Trustee Wilson, who couldn't join us today because she had a work engagement. And so Trustee Wilson told me, she said, you know, Chancellor, this is a championship team. We need championship mindsets. And so she said, what could we do for them? And I said, well, you know, if you're going to go represent Lone Star College and we're as proud of you as I hope you are of us, then we need to get them the right kits. And so I have a surprise for y'all. We have purchased you so please take your new basketball uniform with you today. And we also bought you guys brand new basketballs and things to carry those in. So that when y'all show up on that basketball court, people know that you represent us as much as we represent you, and how incredibly proud we are of the awesome contributions. And just like the Jack Cook semifinalists, you guys are the reason that makes this all worth it. So thank you. That's all I have for it. And so if y'all will come up, we'd like to take a picture with y'all as well, please. So please come up to the stage. So while the board is sitting down again, my sheet was not as up to date as I would have hoped. They also won a region board, so they're actually the regional champions, not just the area champions.
And to our Olympians, the board trustees want to individually comment. Trustee Murillo.
Yeah, this is exciting. Congratulations. And this is what it takes, the excitement, dedication, commitment, and hard work. Keep it going.
Congratulations to all of you. It's a wonderful program. And obviously, you just knocked the top off of the competition. And I just want to congratulate you for everything that you have learned as well in that program. So my very best to all of you. Thank you.
I agree with the trustees that just spoke. This is exciting and it's an amazing experience for all of y'all. As someone who also plays basketball, although I'm probably not as good as any of y'all, I didn't make my high school team. I tried out at Lone Star North Harris. I didn't make the team there either. So so I may be a little bit jealous, but no, but I'm very excited for y'all and maybe I can come and scrimmage with y'all, though I'm sure I couldn't hang. But congratulations. I hope y'all have a good rest of the season and I hope y'all have a good time in Minnesota and win the championship. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Boat.
I'm very proud of you, and I'm proud of this program that gives our students that are sometimes not taken care of in the athletics, and I know how this program works and what it does, and you are set to go out in the world and just do the same thing in the world that you did on the court. Congratulations.
Thank you. Trustee Stoma.
Yeah, I'd like to offer my congratulations. Each one of you have met challenges both individually and as a team, and that's really what life is about, and how success is accomplished going forward is you have to give your best individually and work in a team collaboratively to get the job done. As long as you keep going, keep striving, doing your best, and never, never, never quit. Because once you quit, it's like death. It's over. As long as you keep striving and working together and doing your best, you'll achieve your goals. And I congratulate you and wish you the best going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Stoma. In closing, representing the board, we do want to congratulate you and we want to notice all of your accomplishments, not just your athletic accomplishments. You've done a lot. And if I could give each of you my own gold medal today, I would. Trust me, because y'all are deserving. And when you go home tonight, thank your family. Thank your parents, your caregivers, those around you. Share this moment with them. Let them know. And then in case you don't know, this is all being recorded. It's all on video. And I'm sure that your faculty, staff representatives can give you the link in a few days and go back and watch it and enjoy yourself because you're being recognized for your achievements. And it's going to be there forever, not just on the court, but it's going to be there forever for people to see. So thank your families, thank to staff and faculty to make this happen. Board of Trustees, Chancellor, everybody involved, keep up the great work. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is Chancellor's Cabinet. Lone Star College Tomball President Leanne Nutt, if you will please come forward. Thank you.
Good morning, and I offer my congratulations to all of the students recognized. An amazing day. LifePath is in its 10th year, and they continue to grow and evolve and do amazing things. So congratulations and thank you, everyone. Chair Sullivan, members of the board, Chancellor Castillo. What if Lone Star College could join the ranks of the world's most respected botanical institutions, such as New York Botanical Gardens? Today, we'll explore how achieving ARBNet Level 2 accreditation isn't just a milestone, it's another way for LSC to lead the way, support our communities, engage students, faculty, and staff across the system through a collaborative effort. Fewer than 15% of Arboreta worldwide meet ARBNet's Level 2 accreditation. For Lone Star, this isn't just about joining an exclusive group. It's about education, organizational culture, and serving our community. So today, I want to describe the project and raise awareness, articulate the importance of the project, and recognize the team and their progress. ARBNet, I had never heard of it until this year, is an interactive, collaborative community of Arboreta and tree-focused professionals from around the world. Lone Star is seeking to fulfill the requirements of this prestigious organization to achieve accreditation. One of ARBNet's key functions is raising professional standards through their accreditation program, which provides a set of benchmarks for Arboreta like ours to strive for. The numbers on the slide illustrate the impressive scope. Over 2,500 registered Arboreta exist worldwide. 787 are accredited from across 38 different countries. This really is a global movement. But now that we understand a little of the framework supporting this project, let's look at the accreditation standards. The accreditation standards are organized in a progressive structure. The program functions on a tiered system with distinct levels, representing increasing degrees of professionalism, collections management, and scientific engagement. As you can see, it's a natural pyramid of these achievements. So at the level 1, we have 460 accredited Arboreta. The green outline here around level 2 represents that Lone Star College seeks to join level 2, and only 230 level 2 Arboreta are accredited. As you move to level 3 and level 4, obviously the numbers get smaller and the criteria get more rigorous. The level 2 requirements that I want to go over briefly are shown here and are organized into an arboretum plan, a governance group, dedicated personnel, the collections, and a public dimension. To achieve level 2 accreditation, we need to meet 5 key requirements. First, we must have a plan that defines the mission, the types of plants we'll cultivate, and detailed provisions for ongoing maintenance. The second is a governance group, a dedicated team, and we have a very dedicated team already working on this plan, and personnel. We've already started the collection process, but for level 2, necessitates that we have at least 100 woody plant taxa that are labeled and inventoried into a database, and we have a collections policy. You can see level 2 with 100 plus taxa, a significant increase over level 1 of 25. I want to connect this, however, to our G3 initiative, which is one of our chancellor's goals around leadership and culture. One of the primary targets of G3 out of our first year work with G3, one of the things we're trying to accomplish this year is to improve employee perceptions of communication. So how does an Arboretum accreditation and employee communication connect? This project is a system-wide collaborative initiative across all levels of the institution, faculty, groundskeepers, students, and staff. It has provided a way for folks to come together who have a unique, and I don't want to use the word unique now, I've learned, and a special, and now I can't think of another word for unique, so I'm going to stick with unique interest in this kind of work. And we have very passionate people around our system who are working on this project. Very ably led by Ruth McDonald. And then I won't read the names to you here, but you can see we have a very good list of faculty and staff and who are participating. There are a few here today, so they're not going to speak, but I do want to recognize you if you would just wave or stand. Let us see you and go ahead. There you go. There they are. Thank you. Ruth is there. So Ruth is doing a tremendous job bringing this group together. And I just thank you all for your work on this effort. Their efforts have also led to external network development. You can see a few of the ones listed here. And even Dr. Morgan and Ruth McDonald were able to give a presentation at the Texas Association of Botanical Gardens in Arboretum recently. And so there's just been such energy internally and now externally as well around this project. One of the unique features that this group is working on to make our application for accreditation really stand out is the way they are capturing drone footage of each of the campuses and then labeling each of the taxa, the trees, the shrubs, special features digitally. I've given you a website here. I'm not going to click it because I don't want to risk it not being able to load, but I do have the website for you here. And you can see evidence of the project and the drone mapping and the sites that already have been inventoried. So through this support, actually from LSC South Fair Geosciences, Buck Buchanan is being able to provide the digital mapping that will ultimately be part of the application. Will also be a QR code where the different trees and shrubs and features can be identified by each campus digitally. This is actually a huge cost savings. Otherwise, we'd have to put stakes in the ground and really have to identify plants in that way. And now here, this is also reaches a wider audience. Progress to date, 3 campuses have their inventories completed. Over 115 species are already identified and the inventory is growing as they work even to this day. The target completion date for all campuses is May 15th. The public dimension, we have to have public access to grounds, at least 1 per year. Nature-related events open to the public. Many campuses are already doing that, so that is a relatively easy part of the application to meet. And then we'll also enhance public and educational program as well. Many of our biology and environmental sciences faculty are already doing this work, and then we can also add lifelong learning classes for the community. And then the collection policy. This is probably the most complicated part of the application. A collection policy is being drafted by the group working on this, which will ultimately come forward for review and approval by the Chancellor's Cabinet, and then needing to address a fully developed system-wide policy on our green assets. Those are the challenges that we're facing, but that is progress being made. Our updated target application date is July 30th. And just to wrap up, this is a global initiative indicated here on this map where you can see all of the accredited arboreta. And soon we'll add Lone Star College. In Texas, there are 4 higher ed institutions who have either registered or become accredited. Lone Star College will be the first community college to be level 2 accredited when we complete this application. So the benefits, the collaboration between our campuses, the improvements to campus aesthetic and even environmental quality. We know our facilities and our grounds make a difference in the learning environment. It supports community engagement and overall just as another benefit for our students and our employees. So with that, I will end and see if you have any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Nutt. We'll poll the board for questions. Rio, Mesa. Yes, sir. Trustee Mesa.
Thank you, ma'am, for your presentation.
Thank you.
My question is, as far as getting volunteers, what is the plan specific to each campus? Do y'all plan to open it up to community members, for example, or have students that are taking some of the relevant classes to volunteer? How do y'all get volunteers?
I will defer to the team on how specifically, if they want to give me that information, I can pass it along. But this is a system application. They're collaborating on how the campuses pull together. So each campus may have a little bit different, such as a different community event, but there will be in collaboration with each other. And of course, volunteers, students, community members are all very, very welcome. And I can help direct to the team anybody that you might know that would like to volunteer now.
Thank you. Trustee Vogt.
Can you send us a digital copy of your presentation?
Of course. Then you'll also have the link. It's fun to look at the website. And
Yeah, I
see the
would have
work that's
copied
been
it
done.
down, but I don't think it would.
I didn't think
get
it
it
worked
all.
here. So, right. Yes, we'll be
Thank-
happy to.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you, Trustee Vogt. Trustee Stoma, any comments or questions?
Oh, it sounds like a worthwhile endeavor. I certainly would support it as they go forward. So, keep going.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
All
Nutt.
right. Thank you.
And Chair, may I?
Yes, sir. Chancellor.
So I just wanted to highlight for the board, one of the things that we talked about the retreat is one of the things that we've worked really hard on over the last couple of years is creating a feedback loop where essentially anyone at this institution can recommend an idea. And I want to give credit that this was essentially 2 people came to me just with a random email. One, a full-time professor, and another one, an adjunct faculty member, both of which were on that list earlier. And so it's really sort of a faculty-driven idea that led to sort of the formation of this. Again, going back to what I talked about at the retreat, which is, we want the best ideas to come to the top. And so we're trying to build a college where anyone can have any idea and we will look into it. And if it's a good idea and if it's a strategic plan, then we will carry it out. And this is a good example of that.
Thank you, Chancellor. Next item on the agenda is Faculty Senate President's Report. Professor Kraft. Good morning.
All right, good morning to the Board of Trustees, Chancellor Castillo, my peers, and to our community members, and most of all to our amazing students. My name is Faculty Senate President Patrice Burrell Kraft, and I am also the Professor of Architecture Design at Lone Star College, Houston North. Today, I'm just honored to stand before you all and talk a little bit about celebrating our #1 stakeholders, some who are in the room, but many who are probably in class right now, and just share about some of the excellence and opportunities that they are being afforded here at Lone Star College. In addition, oh, sorry, I need this. So today I'm going to talk about the ripple effect of the lasting impact of student organizations at Lone Star College. So we've already seen several examples of that this morning and how our students are not only being impacted by the organizations that they are part of, but the impact that they are forwarding from being a part of these organizations. And so the ripple effect is a well-known phenomenon, and it is defined as a single action creating a series of outcomes influencing individuals, groups, and communities. So if you will, take a moment and imagine tossing a single pebble into a still pond. The moment it touches the surface, it creates a ripple. Small at first, but expanding outward, affecting the entire body of water. Student clubs and organizations work the same way, and what may seem like a simple meeting, event, activity, or leadership role can have a profound and lasting impact, not only on the individuals involved, but the campus, community, future careers, and generations. And so LSE estimates about 100+ student organizations that are represented across all 8 campuses. Today, we won't go through the 100+, but we will talk about many of those unsung heroes that are a part of these organizations and show and talk about how they're making a ripple effect here at Lone Star College. And so first up is LSC Sci-Fair, and they are represented by the Vietnamese Student Association, the Black Student Union, the Computer Science Club, and the Arab and Muslim Student Association. Independently and collectively, these organizations embody a safe place fostering belonging for our students and opportunities of discovery and innovation. Next, we have LSC Houston North, where our students are represented by SGA, our Student Government Association, the Student Success Institute, Esports, Campus Christian Club, and SAGE, which stands for Sisters Aspiring Greatness Through Education. And we also have our very own Houston North band called the Chicken Nuggets, which is a reflection from our, and here's a reflection, from our band member, Aya Orakat. And so she says, it's suggested that doing something you love helps to de-stress. Music is that something I love. Being a part of the Chicken Nuggets Club at LSC Houston North has helped me to relax when things get too serious in school, and being in a community of others who have similar interests in music and jamming out. And so here we have LSC Kingwood, and represented here are our Poetry and Songwriting Club, Phi Theta Kappa, our ADHA Dental Hygienist Club. All of these organizations are making a mark in their talents and in their care for others, in the difference in providing services on campus and owning their truth. And so I would like to take a moment to just read a testimony and a reflection from the PSC, the Poetry and Songwriting Club's president, Antonio Ramos. And so he says, I make no exaggeration when I say that the Poetry and Songwriting Club has deeply changed me on both as a student and a man. Before joining the club, I was unsure of myself, grieving the loss of a loved one, and for years seeking purpose after making peace with my past. Joining the club and becoming the president of the Poetry and Songwriting Club showed my strengths and improved the shortcomings. And it showed me, I was a natural leader and improved my skills as a writer and gave me a place where I could count on others and they could count on me. My time in this club has shown me that I can take the reins of my life and overcome situations with a smile and fiery conviction. I'm a leader, a writer, and a better man for this. All right, here we have LSC Montgomery, and it is represented by our Sigma Kappa Delta organization. And here they are really profound in celebrating and fostering interest and excellence in literature and language. It is the only chapter at LSC Houston, at LSC to date. And they have a student reflection here from President and Vice President Timothy Day and Helly DeHart. All right, LSC North Harris. They are too represented by two organizations. So we have club sports. We know that North Harris is known for their club sports, but we also have a special organization that is part of North Harris that is called Show of Hands. And so LSC Houston North takes pride in their dynamic club sports, offering students the chance to compete, connect, and lead, representing their campus in excellence. Each club provides an opportunity for students to showcase their talents, build teamwork, and present their campus with pride. In addition, we have the Showing Hands, and they undertake the promotion of the deaf, culture awareness, American Sign Language, and also promoting this so that they can create diversity and inclusion for their students. All right, we have here LSC Online, who is representing us big here at LSC, and they have a couple of organizations, the Investing Club, Gaming Club, AI, Computer Science Club, and the Women in STEM. These students lead groups fostering collaboration, innovation, personal development, and they are rooted in cultural belief of choosing learning. These clubs empower students to explore their passion and enhance their skills. And here, once again, we have LSC Tomball, clubs and organizations, which is the Drama Club, Gender and Sexuality Alliance Club, Special Olympics Texas College Club, and SGA. These groups also foster inclusion, leadership, and personal growth, and are a true example of one LSC. They empower students to embrace their individuality, build collectively, and create a supportive and thriving campus and community. Last but not least, we have University Park, which is represented from the International Culture and Engagement Club, the Justice Agents of Change Club, Muslim Student Association, Lone Star College Christian Student Club, and Chess Club. These students foster critical thinking and meaningful dialogue. All right, and I won't read through all of these, but we do have a couple of student reflections that are from former alumni of Lone Star College and also current students that are here. And this is just a testament of what these student clubs and organizations, how they are making an impact in the classroom, but also beyond the classroom, and also students who come back and are represented here as employees of Lone Star College. So on behalf of the Faculty Senate presidents, I would like to thank our students for making each day we arrive and serve at Lone Star College meaningful, memorable, but most of all, transformational. You are the ripple effect. Student organizations at Lone Star College are more than just clubs and events. They are the catalyst for transformation. They cultivate leadership, they foster lifelong friendships, and empower students to leave an imprint on their communities. The impact of these student organizations extends beyond their campus. And so I would leave you with this. As Maya Angelou wisely said, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Through student organizations, we create experiences that uplift, empower, and inspire. The lessons learned, the relationships built, and the confidence gained will continue to ripple outward, influencing lives for years and generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustees, any questions or comments? Trustee Kane?
Thanks so much for your report, and the ripple effect that you mentioned is so very important, to go beyond the academics and get into the clubs and organizations that promote so many other very important things in a student's life. So thank you very much for that.
Trustee Mesa? Yes, sir.
I promise I don't always talk about myself, but in this case, I think it's very relevant. I can confidently say I wouldn't be here if not for Lone Star College, and then also for the student club I was a part of on North Harris campus, which was a Latin American student organization where I was vice president, LASO. I know they're active in a few of the campuses. I follow them on social media. And I still keep in contact with my professor, Tony Diaz. And so thanks to that club, following along with the theme of the ripple effect, I was able to improve my public speaking. I was able to be on broadcast television, organize events, and connect with other students. And so this is amazing. I'm a big proponent of clubs. I would love to come and visit, or if I would get an invitation, I would love to accept that and come meet some of the students that participate in some of these clubs. Chicken Nuggets Club, that one is sounds interesting. I'd like to visit that one. And
Please
so
do.
yeah, thank you for your work and your support of our students.
Thank you, Trustee Vogt.
I was just wondering, do we have a campus, I mean, a district-wide do we have all the clubs that we could look at?
Yes, so if you go to our Lone Star College website and under Student Life, you'll be able to see all of the student clubs represented there.
Oh,
So Ms. Barnett, if we could send the board a link to that page,
Yes.
please, thank you.
Thank you. And I'll just close with saying one thing jumped out at me, and that's that at least 2 students commented that they would not have known what capabilities they had a faculty or professor not pointed it out to them. So that's the power that y'all have. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, board members, we'll now move on to the next section. This will now be an opportunity for each board member to report or make announcements. I've been starting to my left. I'll start on my right if you don't mind. Trustee Vogt, is there anything that you would like to report on it or announce?
no.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Mesa?
I'd like to mention, and I'm sure Trustee Murillo might fill in some of the gaps if I miss anything, but our experience in Hawaii, Trustee Murillo and Trustee Wilson and myself, we went to Waikiki to attend a Governance and Leadership Institute on behalf of Lone Star College, and we got to meet some of our colleagues and some of the other institutions here in obviously in the state and in the country, Lee College, HCC, a few other ones. And I guess I'll speak for myself personally, being the newest board member, being the youngest board member, I really enjoyed that experience in terms of being able to connect with other trustees, a lot of which have many years and decades of experience over me, and learn from them, and then also attend some of the sessions. There were all day long sessions, but thankfully that we were well fed and the view was incredible. As you can imagine, we were in Hawaii. And so some of the things that I got to learn about was as it relates to governance and leadership, how to be the best trustee that you can be, how to do your due diligence, how to best enact and follow through with the fiduciary duty that the constituents and the voters give, but also doing the best for the students and for faculty, staff, everybody that makes this institution great. Lone Star College, if y'all aren't aware already, we're well respected and well loved. And so anytime that I would mention or any of my colleagues would mention Lone Star College, we would, start to get adoration and compliments. And so it's a good experience. I'm glad to be here and I'm glad to have had that opportunity. I'm sure Trustee Murillo might fill in some of the experience, but that's my report. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Trustee Mesa. Trustee Kane?
And one of the items that came from a recent newsletter that caught my attention that I wanted to mention was the fact that we have been recognized as a leader college the 4th time since 2012 with the Achieving the Dream. national organization. And the other thing that really caught my attention was that within that, we were recognized for great improvement in first time in college credit completion ratio, first time in college persistence, fall to fall retention, and first time in college completion gap reduction, particularly for Black students. So want to say congratulations to everyone. Dr. Napolis, I know, was a big part of that. Thank you, sir. And your team for once again taking us to the point where we receive that kind of recognition.
Thank you, Trustee King. Trustee Murillo.
As my colleague mentioned, the training that we received in is GSI. That's the name of the training, right? Government Institute. Governance and Leadership Institute. Just want to make sure I get the name right. Professional development for trustees often really comes in a timely manner. I know next thing I was going to report on was the Chancellor's Evaluation Committee. So it answered a lot of questions that we had in terms of the direction we've moved through the informed governance approach that we've taken, that our Chancellor has taken on this journey. So, I mean, I guess I'll go ahead and report on the committee. Is that okay? Because I think that's the next thing.
Yes, sir, but let's.
Okay,
go
okay.
to- yeah, we have
I'll
Trustee
then not
Stillman
postpone
to
until we
go
get
back
to that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
It's right around the corner, though.
Okay, that's fine.
Trustee Stillman, any announcements or reports?
I do. I'd like to give an update on the Board of Trustees endowment. You know, we have an endowment, a $15,000 endowment we've been working on to fulfill last few years. As of about Tuesday of this week, we're about $250 short, $250 short of hitting that $15,000 goal, which would then, of course, create an endowment in the name of the board. That would be a great accomplishment for this board. So board members, whether you've contributed or not, a contribution of as little as $50 would move us significantly towards this goal. And I encourage you to do that. You can contact Nicole Robinson Gutierrez. She will indeed direct you on how to make those donations and how to complete this endowment, which again is a significant goal for this board. Thank you.
Thank you. My comments, met recently with Dr. Gonzalez at Kingwood College to work on a very special community event that we're going to put on. All trustees will be doing that, but I will be working with Dr. Gonzalez. Look forward to it. More details to come. And then yesterday I attended Lone Star College Tomball Scholarship Luncheon. It was an opportunity for donors to meet the students that they sponsored, and more on my calendar. So I'll look forward to those as well. We'll now move into committee reports, and we'll go straight to Trustee Murillo.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry about trying to get ahead of myself here, but so this is really important. Today I provided the board with an update overview regarding the committee's formal development of the board, the Chancellor's evaluation process. Our committee's objective is to facilitate shared conversations with the Chancellor and with each trustee member as it relates to the Chancellor's goals via a clear and transparent, it's very important, evaluation process. And I was talking about how the training offered insights and guidance regarding this process, and it just seems real appropriate, and I'll be sharing this information with my colleagues in executive session, but I think we're on track. It's definitely a work in progress. I'd like for you all trustees to kind of review the material that I shared with you all. And really ensure that the trustees play an important, well, we play an important role, but ensure that we also learn how to support and gauge and monitor or the overall objectives of Lone Star College. So that's my report. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks to you and your committee on that work. It's important. Next will be Committee on Committees, Trustee Kane.
The Enterprise Resource Planning Committee will be meeting for the first time on April the 28th. That committee is going to be looking at the integrated software project that will connect all departments within the system. That's the committee that we've been talking about for a number of times, that we've set aside 40 million plus dollars. It's a long-term project. And as I said, we'll be getting together with Dr. Vian and Ms. Johnson at the end of this month on April the 28th to begin discussions in that regard. And we'll have periodic reports for the board as we move along. It's a long-term project.
Good. Thanks to you and your committee for the work on that. As Chair Audit Finance Committee, we met March 20th, and with the assistance of Dr. Vian and Ms. Barnett, I have some notes, just the topics that we covered: annual comprehensive financial report, penny swap and tax swap, potential student revenue and tax equalization policy, budget timeline, information security, key changes in global audit standards, review and discuss ACS strategy, which is a requirement under new audit standards, review and discuss proposed updated internal audit charter. In closing, any other comments, board reports? Okay, good. We will now move on to the consent agenda. Are there any items to be pulled for discussion or removed from consideration?
I'd like to pull item 11 for discussion.
Trustee Stoma has requested that we pull item 11. Are there any other items to pull? Seeing none, may I have a motion to approve items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10?
So moved.
Have a motion by Trustee Murillo. Do I
Second.
have a second? I have a second by Trustee Vogt. Let me write this down. Trustees, when I state your name, please respond aye if you are in favor of the item passing, nay if you vote against the item, abstain if you are abstaining. Trustee Saldivar absent, Trustee Wilson absent, Trustee Broussard absent, Trustee Stoma.
Aye.
Votes aye. Trustee Mesa.
Aye.
Votes aye. Trustee Murillo.
Aye.
Votes aye. Trustee Vogt.
Aye.
Trustee Vogt votes aye. Trustee Kane.
Aye.
Aye. Trustee Sullivan votes aye as well. The items pass. We'll now have may I have a motion rather to approve item 11?
Stoma, so move.
Okay, have a motion by Vogt. Can I put you down for a second, Trustee Stoma?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. GT. All right. And we'll now open the floor to discussion. The item was pulled by Trustee Stoma. The floor is yours, sir.
Philip, sir, are you there?
I am Trustee Stoma.
It has your name by it, and you and I, in all transparency, spoke about this early in the week. Could you briefly tell us how this change came about and the purpose of it?
Sure. This change is really a technical correction that became necessary after the meeting for regular board meetings was changed from 5 p.m. To 10 a.m. The current policy specifies that the deadline for registering for public comment is at 4:55 p.m., which obviously made sense when the meeting started at 5. It doesn't make sense when our meetings are at 10. Rather than use a specific time, I've recommended that we change the deadline to just be 5 minutes prior to the start of any board meeting. So whether it's occurring at 10 or a special board meeting or at any other time, we won't have to change this time if there's meetings at other times. Since I was making that change, I made a few other recommendations. Just to clarify some matters, to make them more consistent with what I have observed as board counsel over the past several months. They're really just technical corrections. None of them are substantive in nature or change what has been the practice of the board with regard to public participation at board meetings. So really just technical corrections and a few stylistic changes for clarification.
And as I read this, and I'm looking on page 61 of the agenda that I have, it's also labeled page 1 of 220. It's section IF.1.06. Public participation. It's just to reference this where the red lines are.
Yes.
Okay. If you go down about the 1, 2, 3rd complete paragraph, it starts with public comment where it's crossed out. The first full sentence really of that paragraph is the presiding officer may also establish an overall time limit for public comment and adjust the time allotted to each speaker. You see that, sir?
Yes, I do.
So as I read this, based on whatever the situation is, whether we have, I don't know, there's no number here, 5 public comments, 10 public comments, 20 public comments, then the presiding officer, which I assume is the chair, could then unilaterally limit the time for each speaker to not less than 1 minute. Is that how this reads?
It does give whoever the presiding officer is, which normally would be the chair, but it could be, if the chair's not here, whoever's presiding, the discretion to set time limits depending on the circumstances, but no less than 1 minute per speaker.
So my concern is, and there could be that there's an issue that arises in the system or even in a district where citizens out here want to have their say. And during my campaign, I walked over 350 houses out here. My team walked over 1,000 houses. We talked to the residents, we talked to the homeowners, we talked to students. They're already kind of limited as to what they can do before the board, given our 10:30 start time. So indeed, if the presiding officer were to invoke this section, is there anything any other board member or members can do to say, hey, wait a minute, we really want to hear from these people?
So, and first, let me clarify in case it's not for all the board. There's no change proposed with regard to this provision. This provision has been in board policy. So there's no change. This isn't a new provision. It's existed prior to today. In fact, it's current policy. Secondly, to answer your specific question, yes, because this would essentially be the chair setting a rule for the meeting under Robert's rules. The board can change whatever rules are set for the meeting through a motion called a motion to suspend the rule, and could provide an alternative time frame if the majority actually would require a 2/3 vote. But 2/3 of the board could set a different time frame. I would expect, first of all, I haven't seen this happen here. It's pretty common in most policies to have this flexibility. I would suspect it would only be used if there were an extraordinarily large number of people signed to speak and there was some kind of time constraint on board taking action. So I've not seen it invoked very frequently. I would expect the chair to sort of consult with the board, but ultimately the board as a whole could determine the amount of time to allocate to each speaker.
So hypothetically, let's say we got 20 people in the audience who want to speak on a certain subject, and the presiding officer invokes this policy. Could at that time a trustee make a motion under Robert rules to a motion to suspend the policy and have board consent? That how it would go?
But yes, a board member could make a motion to suspend essentially the rule that the chair has put in place, and either propose an alternative or just go with what's in policy, which is a 5 minute per speaker limit. And if 2/3 of the board agrees, then that is what would control for that particular day.
Yeah, so because that's been our policy too, to give public comments 5 minute limit. up to 5 minutes. So that could be the motion to suspend and the, I don't know what you would call it, the amendment to just give each person 5 minutes as stated in policy, right?
Or just to utilize what's already in policy.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's all I had. Thank you.
Any questions from other board members?
Yes,
Trustee Mario?
Yes, please. I have also a question for our board council. As it relates to the participation, give me 1 second, I just lost my place here. The board supplies a party who is deaf or hearing impaired with an interpreter. I know that technology is rapidly changing in terms of participating virtually. Do we need to look at what resources or what technology is available for us to carry out meeting the needs of people with this type of disabilities? I guess what I'm asking, I want to make sure that, because since we're changing policy, I don't want to make sure that it's clear that I get what that means. Interpreting license by the Texas Commission for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing. Do we need to do anything else?
I believe that, I mean, this is, again, this is current law, so we haven't changed anything in this policy, and I've looked at it freshly, but this is pretty typical to provide the alternative, to provide an interpreter if somebody needs that, and I assume that's what we have available.
All I'm saying is let's make sure we stay up to speed on whatever technology is accessible, available, and facilitates this ability for us to quickly help, even if that person did not contact us beforehand. I just know that our agencies are looking at their procedures at this time to incorporate, transcribing digitally some information, and I just want to make sure we explore those options. That's all. Not now, but keep an eye open. Thanks.
Thank you, Trustee Murillo. And Chancellor, if I could impose on you to comment on his concerns, if the administration is currently, in your eyes, ready to accommodate our public speakers.
Yes, sir. And so, I've talked a couple of times about my all system forums Watts, and those, for example, we've added that component to it. And this is one of the reasons that some of the trustees voted to have the meeting here, because literally here within probably 5 to 10 minutes, we could have an interpreter from either LSCUP or SOUP, because we have these interpreters on staff in the past, and we actually have had requests for these in the past. So I've been attending these meetings with the exception of 2 for 13 years now. And so I can tell you that I remember once we had someone in advance give us notice, because people that typically need those accommodations, they know the drill.
Yeah.
Right. So they know that they can't just show up usually and say, hey, I need an interpreter. So those folks really sort of self-advocate and say, hey, I'm going to come to the board meeting a week from now, or tomorrow I'm going to need an interpreter. And so that time we were ready. And so those folks, it is incredibly rare for people with disabilities to show up instanter at a meeting and request accommodations, because again, they know the drill. And so again, we have people on staff in this very building that could be here in 10 minutes or less to provide interpreters. And then we also have contracts. We have contracts with third-party vendors in the event that one of our on-staff interpreters cannot. And we have all the levels here at this institution, because there's multiple levels that could sort of provide overflow. Because again, we have students, right? And so we have to provide for students as well. And so we have stopgap measures. And as far as the operational aspect of it, a board meeting is actually rather easy to plan for, because it's set, we know when it is, it's every month. And so it's unlike sort of a live situation where someone shows up. And so, yes, sir, we are prepared for that, Chair.
Good. Thank you, Trustee Murillo. All good?
That answers the
Okay.
question. Thank
All
you.
right. Yes, sir. Thank you. Trustee Vogt, any thoughts, comments? Okay. Thank you. Trustees. All right. We'll now, we've had a motion and a second. We've had discussion. I'll now do a roll call vote. Trustee Saldivar absent, Trustee Wilson absent, Trustee Broussard absent, Trustee Stoma,
Aye.
Trustee Stomai, Trustee Mesa,
Aye.
Trustee Mesa, aye. Trustee Mario,
Aye.
Trustee Mario, aye. Trustee Vote,
Aye.
Trustee Vote, aye. Trustee Kane,
Aye.
Trustee Kane, aye. Trustee Sullivan, aye. The item passes. Thank you very much. We'll now have a financial report. Dr. Vienne, the floor is yours.
Good morning, trustees, chair, chancellor. In your packet, you should see the financial statements for month ending February 28th. So this does conclude the 6th month. So we're halfway through the fiscal year as of this reporting period. So taking a look at just a couple of key highlights that I'd like to point out to the trustees. And so February is the typical time that we would receive the second of our 3 pay for state appropriations. And so we did actually receive that on February 18th, and we did receive the what we were anticipated to receive, which was the $28.4 million for our state appropriations for the second of the 3 pay. And so in total, we had received 461 million in total revenue received through February. So we're doing really, really well in tracking the revenues that we anticipated that we would receive related to those items. Taking a look at investments, you can see that, again, investments continue to trend up. We had no maturities in securities in February, but interest earned on securities paid in February resulted in $867,171. And again, additional details are in your report on those, but just wanted to highlight those couple key items. Looking at our total expenditures in the same reporting period, and we've had 207 million in total expenditures, which results in 42.2% of our budget authority for the FY25 budget. Again, salaries continue and will continue to be the highest expenditure that we have on our books, only secondary to services and benefits. So moving on to the financial statements and just a different graphical pictation of that. And again, as you can see, we have received 89.9% of our estimated revenues, which is well on track to what we should have received for a 12-month period. So only 6 months in, we've received 89.9%, again, at 461 million in actual revenues.
And Dr. Vian, I have a question. What do you attribute sort of, I think I know the answer, but I want you to answer it without my influence. What do you attribute the flat line, and then two, sort of the slope there, right? We went from 80.7 to 90.1. What do you attribute both the slope and then the flat line?
Yeah, so again, as a reminder, this is actuals to budget. So when we're looking at it, it's what we actually anticipated that we would budget and what we actually did. So really the flat line is because we're closer to what we budgeted that we would actually hit. So we're doing what we thought we would do. And
So the forecasting is
Yeah.
more accurate.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And so again, the dip relates to, again, where we were in that period in that specific time. So when you're looking at it, it is actuals related to budget.
And does it have anything to do with the state sort of 3 pay? Because we moved from a, was it 10 pay?
Yes, sir.
Before I became chancellor, the state
sir.
used to pay 10 times. And
Yes,
then
sir.
we moved to a 3 pay.
Yes.
Does that affect this in any way?
It can, because it's more so not necessarily their payments, but what we would have actually budgeted compared to what we actually received. So it's really not comparing necessarily, trying to say this in the best way. It's really tracking where you said you were going to be to where you are, and then comparing that to where we were at the same time period in a previous year.
So it's
related to
measuring the
budget.
forecasting year over year.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, any other questions on that? If not, yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am, if I could. When did you start? When did you assume responsibilities for your role, your current role? Looking at the calendar year, 2023, 24, 24, 25.
So it would have been in the 23-24 year. I served the interim role, sir, in December of 23, and then was appointed CFO on a permanent basis in February of that following period, which would have been February 24.
Okay. And as a follow-on to the chancellor's comments, I don't know if he set out to point out that our forecasting appears to be more accurate, but from where I'm sitting, I would like to say it appears our forecasting is more accurate. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay. So moving on to expenditures, again, as was alluded in the other graph of our expenditures, is we're really continuing to track down, which again, you can look at that as a good thing or a bad thing, that we're actually have only spent 42.2% of our budget authority as related to our overall budget through the 6th month. Again, that continues to track. This same period last year, we would have spent 43.1% of our expenditures. So we spent a little bit less this time, the same point as we had in the previous year. With that being 207 million in total expenditures, again, only 42.2% of our budget authority as given by the board. So.
Dr. Van,
Yes, sir.
Mike Stoma. Another question here. You know, the fact that actuals, planned equal actuals is optimal. I mean, that's what everything I do is judged by financially. That's what you want to achieve. And when you get to a certain point, we're only halfway through, but say you get to 3/4 or maybe a month or so out, and you find out you've got an imbalance. How is that judged from a management standpoint? You know, whether your actuals are more than planned or your actuals are less than planned. How is that seen by you?
And is that your definition of an imbalance, sir, when you're saying that we've received
It would be
more?
definitely variance, yeah, imbalance.
Yeah, so I mean, ideally, the perfect situation for any institution or CFO or finance team is that you budget and spend what you plan to. I mean,
Right.
ideally to the 100%, right? Because to make
Right.
sure that you maximize what you're planning to do. That's kind of a loaded question because it depends on what the balance or imbalance is. I mean, obviously, if we've received more revenue, that's always a great thing. But as a reminder to the board, if it's not budgeted, then we can't spend it. It would have to be
Right.
budgeted in the next year as part of our operation or have to go into fund balance. If
Right.
you're on the opposite end where you don't have enough revenue and your expenditures exceed that, that would be a much more grievous situation, if you would, sir, because ideally you never want to exceed the expenditures of the board authority or what you set in line with the budget. So I don't know if that answers your question, but obviously we would track and monitor that accordingly. And if we had expenditures that exceeded that, then, you know, any institution would have to have a reduction in expenditures or costs to order to prevent that from happening. So,
Or find funds somewhere to make up the difference if you didn't have that luxury, right? Let me ask
yes,
you this, going into, and this is kind of where I'm going with this, because we're getting ready to go into next year's planning, right? Really, I've already started that.
yes, sir.
So how would you factor that into next year's planning? This
How
might be
would
a
I-
question for another time, but I certainly want to know how you would approach that.
So when you say approach and imbalance, sir?
Yeah, let's say this year you've got an imbalance either way, okay? Whether it's an over, or it's a variance, positive variance and negative variance. How would you factor that into planning in the next budget? The 20, I guess it'd be 25, 26 budget.
Yeah, so I guess for clarification, we are already, you know, knee deep, if you will, into the
Right.
budget planning for FY26.
Right.
The teams work very diligently to look at our 4 major sources of revenue. And so we don't plan there to be, at least we are tracking that we will likely come in balance to what we thought. We could receive a little bit more than we anticipated, as I'll show you on the next slide. But obviously, any good financial team makes adjustments, and they make adjustments to be agile. Now, what is also sometimes difficult with what we do is that we're dealing with variables that change. They change because tax rates can change. There's a lot of
Right.
legislation impending. So we really have to just stay fluid and understanding what those dollars and cents will be and plan accordingly. So I don't know if I'm answering you directly, but ideally we have to adjust to the situation and monitor our revenues very closely, to try to come as closely as we can so that we can budget and maximize what the college can do with those funds to support student success.
Well,
So
what about on the expenditure side? I mean, if you found yourself, and this is hypothetical, if you find yourself as a negative variance, I mean, how would you factor that into your next year's planning?
I think that would be a strategic and collaborative conversation for the chancellor's cabinet on how we address that. I
Okay.
don't think that's just simply a CFO decision. That would be up to my colleagues and the chancellor to discuss where our priorities are and where we can limit expenditures. I think that same conversation happens regardless if we're missing the mark or not. But as an institution, we have to be able to adjust our sales to the environment that we're in. So, and we are very equipped to do that, sir. And that is our strategy should that come our way.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have one,
Oh,
but I'm
yes,
gonna
sir.
save it to the end
Okay,
because
sir.
it's
All right.
philosophical.
No,
Thank you.
you're fine. So just to make sure you're all in the correct place on the binder, we're in our financial statements. Again, as I've kind of given you the high level pictorial of those items. When you're looking at it from this specific lens, you can see three very distinct variances. This is the time of year. It's a little bit to the in line with Trustee Stoneman's questions. This is the time of year that we can really start to see what those differences may be, if you will. Kind of halfway through, we can see if we're continuing to track. It's no guarantee. Things can change, but right now, a couple of the items that do continue to trend is state appropriations. We did very close to what we anticipated we would receive is the 113 million. We do anticipate that we will receive 168,522 more. That was really because they did add an additional or made a small modification to the model for state appropriations after the budget period had already ended. So it was too late for us to make that adjustment. De minimis somewhat, but it still is a variance that we needed to report. Based on receipts for tax rolls through the end of February and historical trends, we are anticipating that there could be a tax variable upwards of $5 million to our betterment. So again, all of those are tracking that we would receive more than what we had anticipated. Again, that can always shift. That's just where we are now. We get corrections for tax rolls throughout the year, depending on those that are making appeals and various challenges to the roll. So again, but we are anticipating that. And again, our investments have been favorable based on the high interest rates. And so we do anticipate that our investments will exceed the 5 million that was budgeted and to the tune of about $10 million. That was an intentional philosophy in the past, is because you don't want to become dependent on investments because it can vary based on interest rates. But we are looking at how we can modify that strategy to get better on the investment side while also not being dependent on it. So just those are really some high level items on our revenue variances that I wanted to point out to the board. Really no significant variances to report on the expenditures. Again, a couple items that we did highlight was capital projects transfers. You'll note that effective January 25th, funding for energy efficiency projects are no longer tied to forecasted revenue for energy rebates, and instead is now a reoccurring allocation for the fiscal year. We have done the research that energy rebates will now be recorded as auxiliary revenue, and energy efficiency projects will be base funded as part of our annual budget allocation to make sure that we're maximizing our auxiliary services dollars that are available to support students. And again, that will now come from repair and replacement projects. But again, we did want to highlight because it would have resulted in a mid-year transfer that we did highlight. It's not significant. It doesn't change the budget, but it did change a little bit of our practice that I wanted to highlight for you all as part of that process. No additional funds have been received from Harvey since our last report, which would be expected. And then again, you do have additional financial documents in your binder above and beyond the slides that I presented here. So, and Chair, you said you had a question for me?
I do. Thank you. But I'm going to ask my trustees if they have any comments or thoughts, any questions? Okay, thank you. All right, so this is totally unprepared and I apologize. But there's some instability in the markets potentially right now. No one has the crystal ball, as they say. We run our finances very conservatively, have a history of doing so. I'm sure we will going forward as well. When you mentioned maturities a moment ago, that made me wonder if we should look at maturity reinvestment any different going forward. And you don't have to answer that. In fact, probably be best not to, just to give you a chance to think
Yeah.
about it. But that is top of mind with me right now as a financial impact across our entire economy. And
Yeah.
I think there are potential student implications and all kinds of
Yeah.
things. And I'm not going to, raise the big alarm flag
Yeah.
and
No.
batten down the hatches, but we're all good at what we do. We're all experts. A lot of us are experts at what we do, not counting me, of course, and I mean that. So I just hope that we're mindful of the external forces that are out there right now, and that as trustees, we should pay attention. As finance committee, we should pay attention, and the administration should pay attention. So if anything arises that you do not want to wait until the next board meeting, feel free to reach out to the appropriate person, party, committee, whatever, and I mean that, and let us know.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Chancellor, same for you, please. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
Any
Villa.
other questions?
Any other questions? Ma'am, thank you.
All right.
Great report.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. The Board of Trustees, in accordance with the Texas Opens Meetings Act, will move into closed session under one or more of the following provisions: Section 551.071, Section 551.072, Section 551.074, and Section 551.076. We now move into closed section. Closed session. The time is 12:08. Board, reporting. Thank you. I reconvene this board meeting at 2:06 PM. Next item is suggested future agenda items. Any suggested future agenda items? Trustee Bode, anything? Future agenda item? Okay, thank you. All right, very good. With no further business to discuss, this board meeting is now adjourned at 2:07 PM. Thank you very much.